Hey, this is Craig Ford with this week's Mayor's Minute. I'm with Brett Johnson, Chief of Staff. Brett, how are you doing?
Good. Glad to be here.
We're both a little tired, and we've been to D.C. and trying to secure some more of your tax dollars to come back home. So let's start with I'll say the bad, and then we'll go from the bad to the good. So the bad being South 11th Street. When we took office, South 11th, it seemed like it'd been going on for 3 to 5 years. I don't know, and so when we came in office, we were told that it would be done in the next couple of weeks or the next month, and this has just been ongoing. So I've been aggravated, to say the least, and we have dealt with the contractor that was hired through MPO and the DOT. That stands for Department of Transportation. MPO's Metropolitan Planning Organization. So they have done projects before for the state, and they were awarded the project. So we'll leave it at that. But one problem I have had as mayor is they haven't fulfilled a lot of their obligations. So I called for our Public Works Department to go down and start watering the roads because of the dust factor. And they have done that. However, it is time for that road to be completed. They have had enough time, and I didn't start the project, but I'm going to finish the project. And I'm emphatic about that. I spend a lot of time in the legislature, and I know how to deal with projects like this. And so I have a daily conversation and a daily call with that organization, and we're going to see to it that that project is completed as fast as possible. So we did get a commitment, Brett, for next week. They're going to lay their first layer of asphalt. So I've looked at the weather. A lot of times contractors will use weather days. There's no way they can use weather days this week. Other than say it's a beautiful day in Gadsden. So hopefully, and I feel confident that next week we will see our first layer of asphalt being laid. One thing I do know is when we came back from Washington, D.C., I requested that our staff that wasn't in D.C., which was in Ruth Moffett, Tina King, and John Moore, they went down there, and I said, let's just get a letter from the mayor and go knock on doors. So they went down there and knocking on doors and just let them know, hey, we are aware of the situation, we care, and we're listening to them, and we're trying everything we can do. And I want people to know that, hey, we didn't start it, but we're going to finish it. And I mean that sincerely. Do you want to say anything about South 11th?
No, I think that's good. It was great to hear the feedback, from John and Ruth and Tina about, looking people in the eye when they knocked on their door and saying, we understand this is an issue for you that you're experiencing every day. It will be better once the project is over, but we got to get there. In the meantime, having that direct line to the mayor's office, I hope is important, and we'll get through it soon.
Absolutely. So let's move on to the good. We've got a lot of good going on. One thing is, you'll probably notice some maps down here. We've had some meetings today with DOT and some engineers. This is a vision of mine that I've had, the relocation of 411. So we're still jumping through hoops. We've jumped through 2 more hoops, and they're still on a positive note. So we're now planning routes, and we're looking at things. And a lot of people ask me, what's the route? We don't have a route yet, but we're close, and we have an idea. We have a approximate cost. Everything's in ballpark. Everything is a possibility. So what does that mean? That means City Hall, the current City Hall government, is moving to Regions Bank. We're looking at something that's going to happen here at City Hall, which we'll announce soon. And you'll be able to have land that is contiguous from City Hall all the way behind Arby's that the city of Gadsden owns. Will be green space, will be development like Gunnersville, like Chattanooga. Nobody will have anything on Gadsden. I've said this since day one. This will be a game changer for the city of Gadsden. So I have 2 kids. One is 29, born in 1994. So that's 29 because he's born in December. So he'll turn 29 in December. And then I have a daughter who is 25. And I hear this all the time. What will it take to bring young people back? Well, they were back here shortly for a short time. And then they moved off, and now I want them back. So these are the types of things that will bring quality of life issues that will bring young people back. It's economic development. It'll bring restaurants. It'll bring jobs. It'll bring quality of life issues to us. But it's just something that I think Gadsden needs.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I mean, it's what the new wave of development is supposed to look like. We're an old city, so this is going to update us to kind of your vision and the vision of the people that elected you in November, but seeing the opportunity once you've cleared the trees along the riverfront, you realize how disconnected we have been as a community, and now everybody's kind of chomping at the bit to help you and help the city, move that road so we can get down there and recreation, shopping. I could just see it all. So it's exciting.
Absolutely. So you mentioned something that I'm all excited about. We've created a public works crew. We've already had a tree crew, but we established a new tree crew. We cleared the trees along the riverbank that you can see the river, enjoy the river, and we're now clearing around the pond around Riverview Regional Medical Center today. That'll be completed. And then we're clearing along Marina Park, and then we're going to go over to the other side of the river, Buffalo Wild Wings, and clear the trail. And then we're going to clear all the way to Pruitt's on that side of the highway, then all the way back, and then on 759. And then we're going to go to Megan. On Megan Bridge, there's some areas we can clear. So to be able to see the water, it's good. It's good for quality of life. It makes you feel good. But also, I've had a lot of people come into town and they say, man, good things are going on in Gadsden. Economic development, quality of life issues, people relocating here. It's just, we're taking care of our city. We're taking care of your tax dollars and putting them to work. So I'm excited about it. I love it. I just drive up and down the road, Brett, just to be honest with you. I enjoy seeing it. But that's a great thing that I think the employees are doing, and kudos to them. So I know you talked about the lighting along Marina Park. Brett called me one night and he said, we got to figure out these lights. They're all out. And we're in the process of fixing the lights, thanks to you. So, they switched from, what's that, LED lights.
Incandescent, I guess, is what it would have
Yeah.
been. LED.
Two LED. So we found out that Alabama Power had a lot of the lights, and then we were responsible for a lot of the lights. We had to budget for that. So talk a little bit about our budget.
Oh, yeah. So budget was approved. The Gadsden FIRST budget. That acronym, FIRST, stands for Focusing on Internal Resources, Services, and Training. So the whole idea is you and the council, taking a look at the budget and saying, what is most important to the residents of Gadsden, the people who live here, the people who pay the tax dollars to run this city? And it's picking up trash, it's clearing the river, it's law enforcement, first responders, it's employees that run the city and provide the services that they expect. So focusing those resources on that, training employees to have a pipeline of leadership development and growth so that they gain new skills and get better at their jobs was very important. And then, to make that all possible and to motivate employees to, first of all, thank them for the job that they do, and then motivate them to continue improving and growing. $2 million in raises, which was very important. Market analysis was done to see where we stood compared to jobs across Alabama and the Southeast, and every effort was made, to catch them up closer to market within what we could afford with the revenue available. So,
and I think that's fantastic, and kudos to the previous administration for the revenue they were producing, and then we just piggybacked off of what they did. So revenue is growing in Gadsden, and we wanted to make sure we were good stewards of your tax dollars, and we tried to create some new things. We did a separate police detail. What do we call that?
For the traffic enforcement.
Traffic enforcement, and to help with First Fridays, and we already put the bicycle policemen back out on the streets. They've enjoyed that. We had the Crime Street Task Force. We created a new animal control officer to help with the loose animals in our neighborhoods. I mean, we got a lot of good things going. So a lot of positive notes, and I've enjoyed it. And the main thing is giving the Gadsden city employees a livable wage. Believe it or not, we had people that were below poverty level working for the city of Gadsden, which was very disturbing. So we wanted to make sure we corrected that.
Yeah.
And one thing we failed to mention too, insurance cost always goes up. In the city of Gadsden, the budget, our administration was able to incur that cost. So that was a good deal too. So what else do we have on our list to talk about?
So we had a productive trip to D.C.
Yep.
So I think the third or fourth trip now since you've taken office, and it seems to be, these projects and asking the federal government to help bring some of the tax dollars back home takes time. And, we're dealing with forces a lot outside of the control of the city of Gadsden, but our representatives are hearing us, and so that's good. We're familiar. Gadsden's never had that presence up there in D.C., and it's time, we've been paying our fair share over so many decades. It's time that, we bring some of the bacon back home, and I think we'll see that pay off in the next couple of years.
And by them doing the continuing resolution to keep government open is allowing them to pass the monies that we received by our visits last year, which was $5.5 million. $6.5 million for the relocation efforts of 411. So that was a big deal to us. And not do we just meet with Congressman Rogers, who's going to be our new congressman, Congressman Adderholt's office, Senator Britt and Senator Tuberville, and Congressman Dale Strong. We also meet with the department heads, which that's the meat and guts of sometimes of going to find the little honey holes of where the taxes are, and they have a pot of money and they want you to qualify for it. And you were with me in the legislature, and so we, I kind of know how that works, and you do too. And we got to get to the right people. And every time we go, we're learning something a little new. So we dealt with Appalachian Regional Council, which is called ART. We dealt with the Federal Department of Transportation. We met with them. I mean, we could go on and on and on, but I had somebody say, "Well, you're going on another trip." Well, I wish it was a trip. Yeah, we land and we have a meeting in 2 hours, and God help us if our plane's delayed. So, and then it's about a 30-minute process getting through security in every building. So, and one of us has always got something going wrong with their belt or something. So, but it's kind of amusing. But we get to our meeting, we have a meeting, and then when they go well, they sometimes go over, which is fine, because we're getting good information. But I would say everybody we've met with wants to help us.
Oh, yeah.
And the main question I had for one of our congressmen or one of our elected officials, I said, how many municipalities come up here? If you're a city, I don't want you to listen to this show. But they said about 10% of the cities will only come up to D.C. and ask for money. Well, hey, if we went up last year and it got us $6.5 million, hey, that's worth it.
Well,
and we've already got a commitment from some, and we'll make the commitment later that we're going to be getting almost double that amount. So, but we'll wait till that's in concrete before we announce it. But I'm excited, and that's just one of the things you got to go up there and you got to go up there and ask. If you don't ask, you won't receive. So
that's right.
I'm excited about it. But let me tell you, I want to tell you, it's a pleasure to be your mayor. We're excited about it. We got a lot of good things going, so I look forward to seeing y'all, and hopefully come by and see us sometime. Come to council meetings every Tuesday. 10 a.m. is pre-council, 11 a.m. is council meeting, and if not, I'll see you out and about. So have a good day.